Hi, I think we're connected now, right?
Yes, Neeraj, how are you? So how are things?
Good morning. It's getting a little sunny now after a few days.
That's good.
It's
That's
been
good.
been gray and rainy, and that always it doesn't help with the mood.
Doesn't help. We need a lot of sun now.
The sun definitely helps when other things are not going all that great.
So how are the things in New York? How where do those things stand, and how are you finding it now?
Well, I'm sure you've seen the news. Unfortunately, I wish I could say the news is exaggerating. For once, actually, news is actually doing a pretty good job of reporting things accurately. So things are not the most exciting, I would say, but one day at a time. And I think the good thing is everybody's taking the severity of the situation very seriously, and we're following orders and shelter in place and social distancing, and non-essential services and businesses have completely stopped. And it's definitely helping the contagion, but there's a lot of work ahead for everybody. And
This sort
again,
of
we're
work.
not in it alone by any means or imagination. And it's kind of interesting to see how even like the smallest businesses are being so creative. They're evolving how to deliver, how to service customers, because safety is first. And even when you go out for your grocery runs, you can actually see your everyday New Yorkers actually exercising extreme caution and courtesy and common sense, and letting older people kind of get things first. And it's all of that stuff is really nice. I just
Yeah,
wish
that's
all that
good. I
stuff
mean,
came out at a better time, but hey, I'll take it any day.
no, it's a kind of situation we never thought could ever come. Actually,
How's it going
nobody
for
really.
you? How is your family holding up? What do you got? Are you guys, everybody's healthy and happy and safe?
Everybody is fine, and we are in lockdown for 3 weeks, as you know already. And I mean, fortunately, we are all kind of in a place where we can manage everything, and we don't need to go outside. And of course, but with many other people in India, because there's wide diversity of people in India, it's not so easy. Uh, and people are trying to manage somehow, and the government is trying to. This probably is the biggest lockdown, even bigger than China, because complete
I know I saw
complete
some of the things. I think I had seen like some of the government's doing some really incredible things. I saw like one of the trains converted into like an actual hospital. The quarantine trains and sanitized public spaces and stuff. So I've been watching a little bit of Indian news too, and I'm glad that everybody's taking it very, very seriously, because the enemy is invisible.
absolutely, it's invisible, totally invisible.
And
So I mean,
that's the craziness of it. I could be an asymptomatic carrier infecting a whole bunch of people. I have no symptoms, but I just don't know. So the best thing is for me to hunker down, follow orders, and just kind of go from there one day at a time. And obviously I have family and friends in India too, and we kind of keep checking on each other, and that's the good part. Honestly, it's I've had people reach out to me. Obviously, New York makes it to news everywhere, and I've had business colleagues. I'm not even kidding, that I haven't spoken to in 3, 4, 5 years, and they've kind of reached out just to check on me and stuff. So I'm very, very grateful for all the love and outpouring. So there's a little silver lining there, that people care and people matter, and at the end of the day, that's what's going to come down to.
a bit more humanity coming out, probably, which we were missing before.
Say what?
A bit more humanity coming out, I mean, kind of.
Well, I think maybe that's what, I don't know, not to be all philosophical about it, maybe that's the big lesson that we need to kind of learn, that, hey, we got to treat each other as people first, and then the transaction, then the business, then the rest of the stuff can just kind of follow. So it's been, I feel very loved, and I'm very grateful for my health today.
That's great. That's great. Coming to the business side, as you know, I mean, all of us know that it's a terrible situation. Stores are closing down, and
Mhm.
supply chains are, orders are being cancelled. Supply chain is being badly affected. So,
Mhm.
where do you think it is going to lead to?
Well, to tell you the truth, obviously I don't have a crystal ball to tell you that this is exactly what's going to happen. The This sounds pretty vague, but I think a lot of this stuff actually depends on I mean, we can do a calendar. That's the thing. As business, as organization, as individuals, we're so used to working with, oh, this is my time frame. If this happens in 2 months, this happened in 3 months, I can do this and that. It's just that we're kind of on the virus's timeline right now. Till the virus decides what to do with us, there's not much we can do. I mean, like you said, who thought that there'd be like a nationwide lockdown 3 weeks long, and we're all in week 3, and so we'll just have to kind of wait to see. And I think a lot will depend on what happens to all of us as consumers, our confidence once we're post this pandemic. Like, how excited are we, and what are we excited about? Do we want to go immediately on a shopping spree, or do we want to be cautious and kind of take it slow and just be a bit more conservative with our expenses? Do we want to buy things, or do we want to buy experiences? Do we want to reach out to our loved ones that we haven't seen in weeks now, which seems like decades for a lot of us? So I think a lot will depend on our consumer confidence as we step out of it. Like, do we want to buy less but buy better? Or do we want to buy a whole bunch of things because I'm so starved for all these things that I'm so used to?
Pent up shopping emotions coming out.
Well, I always say, I said the beauty of our jobs, our industry, is that we're such a reflection of our collective mood as a society and as a culture. So obviously we are going through a whole roller coaster of emotions, and it'll be interesting to see when we're past this pandemic, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's super soon, what happens and how do we respond to it. But are we going to be excited about the same things from about a month ago? I don't think so. I think brands and businesses will have to evolve products and messaging and how we kind of view these things. One thing that I think is going to make a huge comeback, a roaring comeback, is the brick and mortar store. I think all of us will want to rush back to engage with humanity, as you said, to actually touch and feel physical product. And I think currently, 3 weeks in, I'm a bit digital out. I mean, I'm okay not to see my computer screen for hours and hours and hours now, because that's all I do 10 hours a day now. Is to, obviously it's great that we have the technology and tools to connect with people, talk to businesses like yourself, and still stay connected and inspired. But I miss physical teams. I miss my physical space. I miss things to touch and feel. I think we'll all crave that, and that definitely impact on what happens once we're out of this pandemic. So hopefully, and myself included, hopefully businesses are just nimble and they're ready to adapt into whatever that happens. We'll just have to quickly mold into the new reality, because I don't think we're going back to what we knew business a month ago. Remember our life a month ago?
it's like life, it's like years before, decades, before.
Well, there's some really interesting articles, and obviously I have a little downtime, so I've been reading a lot more than I normally do, and they're talking about this big, great reset. And it'll be interesting to see, again, in that reset, what are we excited about? How do we just feel? Because, again, you can predict that maybe I'll feel extremely optimistic and things are great. Maybe I'll just be a bit more cautious. And I'm talking about myself as an individual, not anybody else. And I'll think maybe I need to go, and purchase more experiences, things that make me feel a certain way, because I've missed all that stuff. Versus, hey, let me go buy a new pair of jeans and t-shirts and coats and jackets. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
It will be interesting to see.
I think you'll see a lot of newer business models. I think a lot of new creativity. I think big businesses will have to start thinking like smaller businesses and be agile, make quick changes, and smaller businesses will have to think like big businesses and kind of scale up. And we'll see a whole new
rebalancing.
Exactly. Like, I was actually talking to a friend last night, and we were talking about, and she also agrees that brick and mortar stores are going to make a huge comeback, but they'll be tech and digital enabled, meaning it'll all coexist. But for the longest time we've read that the physical stores are dying, et cetera, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we'll want to experience things with our own hands and feel things and experience them before we spend a single dollar now.
But I mean, if the supply chains are getting broken, what we are seeing right now. So I mean, even let's say in a couple of months, if this thing lasts for a couple of months and supply chains get broken, I mean, it won't be so easy for the brick and mortar stores or even the online stores to make a comeback very quickly.
Well, again, I know, like I said, this is like highly nuanced and extremely technical, and as you said, this would be like a logistical nightmare. But I'm kind of hoping that, myself included, that all businesses are actually kind of just playing out different scenarios. If I'm back on my feet 2 months, back on my feet in 2 weeks, in 3 months, what does my scenario look like? And just kind of, again, be ready to embrace whatever comes our way, because I don't think so anybody can predict an exact timeline. So say if the lockdown lifts in May week 2, then I have X raw material to manufacture X number of goods. We just don't know. And what are we going to be doing stuff for? Because think about it, unfortunately, spring and summer are pretty much a wash at this point. The next big season will be back to school, or Q3. So then how do you kind of gear up for that? And I know firsthand for a fact that some businesses are actually not even focusing on spring and summer anymore. They're kind of saying, okay, that's done deal. Let's focus all our energies on Q3. What can we secure? What's in place? What can we substituting? And maybe just what we have already in terms of goods and supply, can that be reassorted? And, again, just being creative about these things. There's no perfect answer, and each solution will have to be highly thought out for each individual brand, company, because we talk to different consumers, different mindsets. Knowing that, I think, would be key. I mean, if you think that, God willing, everything just lifts, anything can sell the similar thing that we sold May of last year, June of last year, I don't think those models will be helpful anymore. We'll just have to see, observe, make quick decisions, and just kind of go with it, kind of a thing.
Some people are also talking about seasonless seasons going out, and having major part of your collection as a seasonless collection, and only very small part as a season collection.
Well, don't you think that's kind of been happening for a long time anyway? Because every time, even if you design a full season, we always say this particular subset's going to come in January, this is going to come in February, March, April, May, June. So I think the whole traditional seasonality has kind of been abandoned for a while. I don't think so anybody talks about it. I mean, think about it when you plan. I'm sure you also talk about it in terms of deliveries and what month is this and that. So I think that's not going to, it just might get super fine-tuned now. You may see retailers not bulking so many quantities, Obviously, we've all lived in such a heavy promotional environment. Everything's 50 off, 40 off, 30 off, 20 off. I think you may see less of that, because since we'll be producing less to begin with, again, that could be a teeny tiny positive out of this whole thing. Maybe things are not going to be at a throwaway price, and actually, because there'll be less product, it actually may command the original price that it's supposed to sell at.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it the beginning of the end of fast fashion? Do you think so?
Again, to tell the truth, it all depends on consumer behaviors. I mean, do you think, sure, the whole idea that I'm just going to wear this outfit for one Instagram photo going to go away overnight? Probably not, but you'll see a whole different realization of it. The thing is, and I was actually in discussion with some of my colleagues, is sustainability in our business has kind of been there. Like, people are kind of talking about it, but nobody is really investing in it in a big way. But I think this experience will make sustainability a very personal thing. Like, we're experiencing all of these things personally. So I think consumers will look at it very differently. What are the materials? What are the manufacturing? How is it impacting? And a realization that every dollar that I spend, every decision that I make on in my daily life actually now impacts the world around me. How I consume what I consume. So, and again, it all depends on how the brands are going to be messaging and talking about these things. Is it going to happen that the minute the pandemic is over, we're never going to discuss it? Absolutely not. I think this will reshape everything that we do for a long time to come. And a lot of great things will come out of it. I just don't know what they are.
Absolutely. And also, let's say, do you think in terms of outsourcing, the globalization model will probably take a backseat, and people are looking for more nearshoring, sourcing near their own countries or regions as far as possible.
Again, I think again it'll just be like you said, rebalancing of the same thing. I mean, a lot of U.S. based companies, for instance, yes, vast majority of the sourcing happens out of Asia, but there is still a lot of stuff that's happening out of Central America and Latin America. So maybe, and then a little bit of stuff within domestic U.S. Maybe it's just a matter of, again, depending on your product, your capability, your price point. Maybe it's again a matter of rebalancing it. And maybe one of the things that actually comes to mind is maybe we need to look at our traditional product development calendar. Maybe it doesn't have to be so far out, you know what I mean? Like 13, 14 months ahead of when it gets shown in the store. I mean, that process is super slow, do you know what I mean? And it's kind of been done for decades now. I mean, I've been doing it personally for 22 years. Just that stuff that I have to set something in May of next year, I'll start designing it now because it takes time. Because there's physical samples involved, you know, there's product development, there's tech packs, all that stuff. I think a lot of those processes, mini processes, will get digitized, and virtual fashion will actually come to the forefront, and it'll actually shrink the calendar so businesses can be more nimble to react closer to the dates versus I have to make this commitment because of my lead times 6 months, 10 months ahead of time. I don't need to make the sort of commitments because currently I'm nervous. I don't know what my business is going to be in 10 months. So maybe I'll come up with creative tools, digital tools, use technology to actually show samples to my buyer, like in a wholesale environment virtually, and say that, hey, this is what's going to look like, and make those commitments much further down the lane. So everybody's less of a risk.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
So those are the kind of things that I'm actually kind of educating myself to. That those are the kind of things those are the kind of tools that the funny thing is I do a lot of consulting work too, and I've been showing those ideas to some of my clients. I'm not kidding. Up until 3 months ago, it was more like, it's good to know. And now suddenly say, what were you talking about? So it's very interesting that even though there was like a little spark in the back of the head, now they're thinking about it. We can actually tap into those things. And one of the criticisms for those really amazing virtual fashion tools were they were very expensive. But the more people get behind it, the cheaper the technology will get. And there'll be more players coming up with even more innovative solutions much faster.
Absolutely.
So those are the kind of things as businesses I think we need to kind of take ownership for. Like 3D printing. I mean, ours is the only industry that doesn't do it because making actual samples in Asia is way cheaper, but it's wasteful for time and resources. I think as a business, we'll start to rethink those things. And, you know, like I used to even joke about it. If I'm showing a sample to an online company, the consumers never really look at it physically, but the people buying for those brands want to look at it physically. Why is there such a paradox? So I think a lot of those things will be readdressed.
I think the technology also needs to evolve because with 3D printing, still we don't have that kind of feel, you know, the kind of textures what we have for the clothing. Still, that those textures are not available.
I mean, I think there are actually a lot of companies. I believe Tommy Hilfiger's already. I mean, this is pre-pandemic. They even said that by 2022, they will actually do a complete virtual showroom and. Like the whole selling campaign will be done digitally. They don't want to use physical samples anymore. Part of the sustainability efforts. Very interesting. I'm sure you saw that. So Shanghai actually just kicked off their fashion week completely online. So obviously they did it through live stream on Tmall, which I believe has like some 800 million active users and whatnot. And they actually showed, it's not just showing here the clothes, buy the clothes, but the content was also like very entertaining. It was interesting. It had like good storytelling. Brands are telling their own brand identity. They're telling stories. So it's very interesting. So again, I think as countries and markets emerge out of this pandemic, it'll be interesting to watch how everybody does these things and kind of learn from those experiences and tailor it to your own individual markets. I think it will work very quickly. I don't think so. We'll bounce back to our last year or last month's levels, but I think as an industry, I can see a lot of people are committed to making things happen very, very quickly. So you'll see suddenly people will embrace change. There's
Yeah,
always
great.
been a thing that one little thing at a time. I don't think so. We can kind of slow things down a little.
In times of adversity, I think is the best time to adapt to new changes. That's what humanity has always done.
Oh, absolutely. I think you'll see. I anticipate. I think people will actually ask, so how can things be faster, efficient, better, and still non-compromise on quality?
So we were talking about homeware category because is it going to be an important category in terms of when we're looking at work from home? Is kind of going to be a very normal thing in the near future. I mean, if you are looking at the circumstances
Oh,
today,
absolutely.
so homeware category as an apparel category would become very important for the retailers to consider.
I would think so. In fact, it's funny you say that. I actually was it on Fashion Snoops or something. I think I saw this a couple of days ago. There are brands and companies already kind of talking about things like that. When you work from home, it's not necessarily just the clothing, but even your physical environment. Like, what are the things that you need to have that make the whole experience distraction free, comfortable, so you can focus and you can still kind of juggle, kind of running out to kind of watch on your kid or do whatever from at home and then run back into work. So I think working from home will become, once people have tasted blood, for lack of better words, or the success that I can be just as productive, just as creative, and still move the needle working from home. Again, I think the resistance, the past life resistance to working from home, that people are not productive or they waste time, I think those notions will be shed, and you'll see it a lot more prolific. I mean, forget the big picture stuff. I mean, I think just working mothers. I know some of my friends are like working moms and they're kind of like juggling, watching, homeschooling their kids and be in a conference meeting, a Zoom call, and running back and watching homework and stuff. I think there'll be a lot of these tools that will be accessible for us to kind of tap into. And hey, if there's a lifestyle change, and sure, why not? Fashion and lifestyle and beauty, they all will definitely tap into those white spaces as they become more and more commonplace.
Absolutely, and a number of small brands and all, medium-sized or small brands are in a very difficult position. Do you think many, that will also remove a lot of such people who don't have deep pockets from the scene?
Yeah, yes and no. I just think again, I think obviously each big or small, I think as you can see, like right from H&M to your corner bodega, everybody's kind of going through these unprecedented times, and everybody has their own individual balance sheet to look at. But I do think going forward, I anticipate a lot more crowdfunding, a lot more instead of venture capitalists. You'll see a lot more crowdfunding. People who want to see their own selves, a sense of community. If you have a sense of belonging, you'll kind of figure out a way to kind of protect those businesses and just kind of stand for them. But they'll have to be meaningful. It just can't be another t-shirt shop to be rescued. You know what I mean? Like, it has to really, really mean something to a whole lot of people for that to be helped out. And you're seeing a lot of that already, actually.
I mean, it's already visible. I mean, in terms of in last 1 month, I mean, you're seeing that.
I mean, there's definitely like a campaign around like buy local, right from your local restaurants, to just instead of going to the big grocery stores, go to the corner deli shop and just buy some supplies from them, because they need cash flow more desperately than the big brand names.
Mm.
I mean,
So that really,
they have large lines of credit and stuff. I mean, that's the thing. Suddenly, everybody's aware of not only your own individual pain, but also remarkably paying attention to how is it affecting my neighbor, how is it affecting my immediate community, how is it affecting my city, my country, and then the world at large. So I think a lot of amazing things will come out of it.
when in India we see that, the local small stores and kiranas and all these. I mean, people already used to go to them, but we see that, I mean, because the bigger stores are all closed, so I mean, they have advantage in this situation. I mean, and they people want to go to them.
Actually, I think it'll be like India style, where I think, again, growing up in India back in the 80s and 90s, it was almost like you had a relationship with that store. and you kind of knew their family and they knew what they were doing and stuff. I think the same thing is kind of happening in a very small scale, but people feel just as passionate about it. That if I have to order takeout, let me get it from the restaurant down the street and not some big fancy BC backed brand, which is slick on Instagram. But guess what? This corner shop is actually dying right now.
Absolutely. What the three big positive takeaways from this situation for you?
For me, the biggest thing is again, as I was saying, I don't really have a crystal ball to predict, but I am optimistic about whatever the future holds, and I'm just telling myself that all I can do best is prepare myself to be nimble, to adapt and be flexible. Like whatever comes my way, I'm ready, eager to embrace it and just kind of get on with it versus, oh, but this is how it used to be, that's how I've done it. I don't think so any of that stuff matters anymore. My past experiences, my ways, my processes may be a foundation, but it's a matter of reinventing the game from ground up now. So that's really exciting. So I expect a lot of creativity. I'm definitely committed to that.
That's great. I need a little you need to speak a little louder. Only the final question for you, Neeraj.
Yes.
You have been designing for big retailers and brands. You've been, design head of. So as you, when you see other designers who are right now in these positions, and what is the main thought they must be having right now in terms of their work?
I think it's just the uncertainty part of it. Like I said, if all of us were magically given like a calendar that, hey, this will go away in 3 months, I think it will behave a certain way. If somebody were to tell us this goes away in 2 weeks, we'll behave a certain way. I think every day we're just kind of rolling with the punches, because like you said, every day a new supply chain gets disrupted. Every day a certain order gets canceled. So there's just a lot of uncertainty, and I think that's what people are mostly worried about, myself included, and like, how do I do what I do? So I quite gladly tell people these days, I'm just taking one day at a time. This is what I know today, so I'm going to do what I can to the best of my abilities and knowledge today. Tomorrow, when the situation changes, I'll start all over again. Day after, round 3, it doesn't matter, and that's the best way to do it. If I'm personally, I'm telling myself this, if I'm trying to control the outcome of it, then I'll just get disappointed because I just don't know. So the best thing for me is to just be ready and embrace whatever comes my way, and and ready to take punches also, because again, I just don't know. But I'm committed to make it work the minute we're post-pandemic. So that's what I tell myself, and I really believe in it.
Absolutely. So it's really wonderful speaking to you, Neeraj, as always.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, and
stay well, be healthy, and take care of yourself and your family. All right, we'll get through this
thank
together.
You. Please be safe.
You too.
Be healthy.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.